As of recording this, over 400,000 of you have tuned in to watch my review on the Wired Freedom. And I don't blame you, it's a rad bike. But I did find a few things wrong with the Wired Freedom, and they were kind of deal breakers for me. And that's why the Freedom's not here anymore. Yep, sold it. But don't worry, because I've got a brand new bike from Wired, and I think this one's even better. Today we're going to take a close look at the Wired Cruiser, and I'm going to show you two key factors that make this bike even better than the Freedom. But first, why don't we just take a minute and stare at it? Cue the B-roll. Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're on the Wired Cruiser, one of the most powerful e-bikes on the market today. I am so excited to show you guys this bike today. But let's get one thing straight. I'm not here to sell you this bike. This bike will sell itself. I value your trust. So today I'm gonna show you tests that you can see. You're gonna see how fast the bike goes. You're gonna see how well the bike brakes, how well it climbs hills, how fast it accelerates. You're gonna see the true top speed with a 190-pound rider on it. I want you guys to know everything about this bike. It's a big investment, right? So I want you to know everything you wanna know about the bike so that you can make an educated decision. Let's see what kind of speed we can get downhill. 30, 35, 40. Woo! I'm still getting power. Holy! 45 miles an hour downhill, and I was still getting power from the bike. That's insane. Oh, I should put my goggles on. Good thing I brought them, right? So why don't we start with the obvious? The main reason I feel this bike is better than the Freedom is the frame. Just look at this thing. It's a full suspension hydromorph frame with an extremely plush and active 4-bar linkage. It's available in 6 different colors, and after you find out just how much power this bike has, you're gonna be mind blasted at its sub $2,000 price point. So I said in the Freedom review that these were really tall bikes. And I didn't mean the standover height. Because with the seat all the way down low, I have no problems reaching the ground flat-footed. And for reference, I'm 5'9". It's just high everywhere else. First, you have 26-inch fat tires that are already pretty tall. Then you have a double stacker rack in the back to house the rear battery. This makes it pretty high to swing a leg over. And imagine if you put a bag on here, forget about it. And up front, it's the same thing. The BMX style bars are also sky high. I mean, look at this, comes up to my chest. Now, I'm not gonna knock them too much because once you're settled onto the bike, the sitting position is absolutely perfect. But that's the problem, settling onto these bikes. The new bike's a step-through design. It doesn't have a top bar here, so this makes it super easy to get on and off the bike. And to take it a step further, it's got a D&M air shock in the back. You can tune this thing super easy to have the right amount of support for whatever you weigh. All you need to do is take your shock pump and put the right amount of... Actually, why don't I just show you? Right, so what you want to do is just get the cap off the air valve right here. Then you want to take your shock pump and connect it. As soon as it's threaded in, you'll see the air pressure come through on the gauge that's inside the shock. At 190 pounds, I know that I need about 200 PSI inside the shock to get proper support. So I just pump it up here, 200 PSI, and release it. If you weigh less, put in less air. If you weigh more, put in more air. You can pump these up to 300 PSI. Oh, and the shock has a stiffer and lockout switch. So you can lock this out if you don't want it to move at all. And the red knob here handles your rebound, so you can slow it down so you don't get a springy feel. Let's take a look at our headlight. I'm gonna turn it on. Oh, wow. Super punchy little beam. It's not the widest beam out there. It's not gonna light up the whole road, but it is super bright and it's gonna light up the path in front of you, no problems. If anything, it'll give you tons of extra visibility. Let's take a look at the back. So the lights on the new Cruiser is exactly like the new Freedom. It does have a light right here built into the battery that you can turn on and off with this button here. And it's got the light built into the bike. Nice thing with the built-in light is that it goes brighter when you brake. Nice, big, bright, couldn't ask for anything else. Oh, and even when you don't have the lights on, they do light up when you brake. And while we're taking a look at the electronics, let me show you what the screen looks like. I'm gonna turn the bike on. Beautiful, detailed screen. It's super bright and it has a lot of contrast, so it's really nice and easy to see even in direct sun. You get a battery meter here with percentage. You get the motor's temperature right here. In the middle, of course, is your speedometer in miles or kilometers an hour. As you go up and down your pedal assist modes, you do find them here. This gives you the motor power that you're currently drawing. You have time spent on the bike, distance, and if you cycle through the set button, you can get a bunch of different info. If you hold the set button, you can also access a menu. It's super nice. In general settings, you're going to find everything from speed units, mileage, temperature, and so on. If we scroll over to the advanced settings, in here you're going to find all the settings that affect the bike's power. You can set it up in class 2 or class 3 setting here. You can set the speed limit, wheel size, light mode, speed magnet. Throttle follow is whether the throttle will actually limit you on the speed you are based on the pedal assist mode you're in. And start strength is how much acceleration you're going to get from the bike. I'll show you that a little later. Other than that, you can clear all your trips. You can affect the brightness of the screen, set a password, and get any information in case you start getting error codes. The Wired Cruiser rolls on a set of 26-inch tall, 4-inch wide Kenda Crusades. I just love these tires for 2 reasons. They've got a nice center channel in the middle of the tire that keeps the bike nice and quiet. And check out the tread pattern on these things. The treads are super tall, so they're gonna dig into the dirt, the sand, whatever we take this thing on. Time to see what the Wired Cruiser is like off-road. Now, a bike like this is so well-rounded. You wanna take it on the street? No problem. The road gets rough? No problem. The road runs out? Let's find out. So, I've ridden these tires before. These Kenda tires are so aggressive off-road. But you know what? They have a nice center channel right in the middle. So even on the road, they're not loud, they're not hummy, right? But the treads are super deep. So they should dig into the dirt really, really well. Let's find out. Okay, make sure I don't hit my camera. There we go. Woo! Oh man, the suspension on this bike is so good. It's one of the only things I have trouble relaying to you guys in a test that you can see is how plush the suspension is. I mean, hopefully the cameras do it justice and you can actually see the shocks go up and down and all that stuff. Hopefully we've got some beach left. Oh yeah, lots of beach. Okay, here we are. Woo! Okay, 153 Newton meters of torque, over 3,000 watts of peak power go to this back geared hub motor. Let's see what that translates into power on the soft sand. You guys ready? Let's go. Oh, this is crazy. I'm gaining speed on the sand. Oh, woo. It feels like I'm just riding a motorcycle, man. Like, it's crazy. The amount of power that this bike has. Oh. And it's not just overall power, it's torque too. This is so refreshing to ride a bike like this after riding so many underpowered e-bikes. Whoa! Oh man. You want a bike that's perfectly legal everywhere you go? Look at this bike. You want a bike that has a ton of power and speed? Look at this bike. You want a bike that goes off-road and takes you anywhere you want to go? Look at this bike, man. A lot of e-bike reviewers out there throw the word well-rounded out like it's nothing. And to be perfectly honest, I'm gonna use it on this bike, but I'm not using it lightly. This bike is well-rounded. The looks, the performance, the power, the traction, the suspension, the electronics, the tunability, the utility, the comfort, the price. I mean, this thing has it all. Let's take a look at the suspension. I've already shown you the rear shock and all of its settings, but take a look at this rear linkage. It's specifically designed to keep the bike laterally stiff, but give this little shock as much motion as possible. I've ridden good 4-bar linkages before, and these are the best at keeping the bike super fluttery on small bumps. And up front, you get a set of RST guide forks. These have a decent amount of travel. You have a lockout on the right. And preload on the left. Well, what about when the road gets rough? This is where I feel like a high quality bike like this one shines for 2 reasons. The suspension, right? You get a beautiful front RST fork with, I think it's 75 to 100 millimeters of travel. Don't quote me on that, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's 75 mils of travel. And in the back, you get a beautiful little D&M air shock. You also get a climb switch to lock the bike out. Right now I've got it set in plush mode, and you also get rebound. Rebound is so important to keeping control at high speeds. If your rebound is too fast, what'll happen is when you get a bump, the bike will just spring you back up, and at high speeds, you can lose total control of your bike. So by slowing down the rebound, the shock just, compresses and then kind of like sucks its way back into place. You never, ever lose control with a shock like this. It feels great. It's set exactly to support the amount of weight that I put on the bike, right? So let's get some speed. Let's go over some gnarly potholes and see how comfortable the Wired Cruiser is. So I'm gonna go to pedal assist number 5, get some decent speed, and I'm gonna go dead on to these potholes. Okay, first pothole coming up. Let's see what it does. Oh, like nothing. It's so smooth. Yeah, I think we got another one here. Oh yeah, that's as rough as it gets. There's a complete layer of asphalt missing, and the bike just rolled over it like a cloud. The difference between good and bad suspension is night and day to how your ride feels. And this bike has really good suspension. Let's get another bump. Oh yeah, no problems. I should also say that the tires have something to do with that, right? These big fat tires, they're heavy, they're clunky, but you know what? They add another layer to your comfort, right? You don't have to air them up so much. I mean, obviously, if you want the most amount of speed from your bike, you're probably gonna wanna keep them close to 30 PSI, which is where I'm at right now. But even at 30 PSI, when you hit a large enough bump, these tires do compress a little bit, right? So that adds to your comfort. That adds to the traction that the bike gives you. That adds to the amount of bump that this bike can actually dampen for you.
Let's take a look at the contact points, starting on the right here. You get a nice set of faux leather ergonomic grips. They're not the cheap kind. They've got some nice stitching and they're actually fairly soft. Plus, they have a lock-on collar on both sides, so these are never going to slip on you. These are actually really, really nice grips. And next to the grip, of course, you've got your half-twist throttle and your 7-speed Shimano shifter. And on the front here, of course, is the hydraulic brake lever. They're super easy to maintain. They take mineral oil, and there's a little bleed port here so you can take out any air bubbles that build into the system. Plus, on the backside here, there's a little set screw so you can bring the lever in or out depending on how big your hands are. And on the left side, you get the same ergonomic grip, faux leather, nice and soft, lock-on collar on both sides. You get a nice simple remote with the plus and minus button for your pedal assist modes, a set button to cycle through all the options, and your power to turn on the light or the bike's power. The stem on the Cruiser is actually fairly short, so you're not going to have to reach out super far in front of you to reach the bars. And speaking of bars, the BMX handlebars are nice and wide and they're super tall, which puts you in the perfect position to cruise. Pun intended. The Cruiser's got a normal bike seat that you can actually adjust to go up and down. And it's not one of those big benches like those Moped-Style e-bikes. It's a nice, comfortable bike seat. It is nice and wide to support all different shapes, and it's got a ton of padding. Look at this. It even feels like it's got like a gel layer in there. It feels super, super comfortable. Finally, the last thing you're going to be in contact with are the pedals. They're metal Welgo pedals. These pedals are on pretty much 75% of all bikes. They're metal, they're grippy, they're not going to wear out like any of those plastic pedals. Just perfect for a bike like this.
I want to take 2 minutes to talk about bike and ride quality on the Wired Cruiser. Let's start with the contact points. The grips are perfect. These are ergonomic grips. They let you rest your palms on there, so for long bike rides, they support your hands, they put them exactly in the right place, they're comfortable, they've got some cushion, and they lock on both sides, so perfect. They're never gonna move on you. I love these grips. I don't really like ergonomic grips, but I like these. The pedals, well, the pedals are pretty basic. They're metal Welgo pedals. They've got a decent amount of grip. This is not an off-road bike, right? I mean, you can take this bike off-road, no problems whatsoever, but it's not designed for that purpose, right? If you think that these pedals don't give you enough grip, 15, 20 bucks on Amazon will get you some aluminum pedals with some metal spikes, lots and lots of traction, but easy upgrade. And the seat is wide, it's very cushy. It kind of feels like it's got gel and memory foam in there. Like it's really, really nice. And you know, it's gonna be subjective to some people. Some people are gonna like it, some people are not, right? Different seats have different shapes and so do people, right? So, but for me, I like the shape of this seat and it works with me. Next, let's talk about the sitting position on this bike. This bike is a big bike, right? But I feel like it's so well-rounded to suit a lot of different body types out there for 2 reasons. One, it's a step through, right? You don't have to swing your leg over this entire rack. Plus 2, think about it. You put a bag on here or some panniers or maybe a cooler. How are you gonna get your leg over that, right? This makes it super easy to get on and off. And for some people, this is a necessity, right? You've got hip issues, you've got mobility issues. Being able to just raise your knee to get on and off your bike is what you need. Those high step over bikes are not gonna be for you. It's gonna be a pain to get on and off. So this makes it safe, and this makes it convenient for a lot of people, especially elderly or people with disabilities, to get on and off a bike like this. It comes with a nice short BMX stem, BMX riser bars. They put you exactly where you want to cruise. If you want some lower bars to put more weight on your front end, you can do that, right? The bars on Amazon are super inexpensive. You can change them out very, very easily. Just get the right diameter stem. I believe it's 31.8. And you're off to the races. You can just put different bars on it if you don't jive with these. But the bike itself, it's not super long, it's not super short. I really feel like this bike can jive with a lot of different body shapes out there. Next, let's talk about comfort. The suspension package on the Wired Cruiser is absolutely perfect. Air suspension in the back that you can tune to your weight is what you want. Whether you weigh 100 pounds or 300 pounds, you're gonna be able to put the right amount of compressed air into that shock to support your weight. And the front feels awesome. You can wind the spring in there, giving you lots of support. You can lock it out if that's what you want. I really like this RST front fork. It works very well. I can't bottom it out. It's just perfect for a bike like this.
So hopefully by now you guys have seen a few of my videos and you're familiar with my outlook on brakes. That's why I'm super pleased to see a big set of 4-piston caliper hydraulic disc brakes biting on the 203mm rotors front and back on this bike. The rotors are super thick, so they're gonna stay nice and straight for the entire life of the bike. And the setup's the same front and back, so this will make it super easy to replace any parts in the future. So why don't we go outside and see how these gem of 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes perform in the real world.
So here's how we're gonna set up the brake test. Here's the marker I wanna stop by. I've got about a 20-foot distance to the first marker here, and this is where I'm gonna take the Wired Cruiser going about 28 to 30 miles an hour and slam on the brakes, and hopefully this big bike can stop before that marker there. Now I've got a couple of things working for me. Obviously the roads are bone dry today, which is nice, and I've got these massive 4-piston hydraulic brake calipers biting on to 203mm rotors front and back. This is as good of a brake setup as you could want. And with a bike that goes this fast, that weighs this much, that's a pretty important thing. So let's see what kind of real world performance we can get from these brakes. I'm gonna turn around, go to where I feel I could probably get about 28, 30 miles an hour. And guys, I know that this bike goes faster than 30 miles an hour, but I'm trying to keep these reviews somewhat fair, right? I always do the brake test at the same place. I always do the hill climb at the same place, and that's for one reason. It's just so that you guys can actually compare these bikes on the same terrain. So if I go 40 miles an hour with one bike and 20 miles an hour with the other, especially for a brake test, you're gonna get different results, right? So I'm shooting for the 28, 30 mile an hour, which is what most bikes' top speed can do. And that way you guys get something that's, you know, fairly comparable to other bikes, right? Let's go. I've got 16, 19, 20, 26, 28. There we go. And brake. Easy. Easy. Look at that. Well before the marker. Man, I can smell the rubber. This is what you get when you match good conditions with good components. You get great results. I feel like a bike like this deserves, actually requires brakes at this level because it's got a lot of weight and it's got a lot of power, man. I've got a little bit of a wobble on my disc. You know, it might have gotten pushed on or rubbed on during shipping, but that's an easy fix. Sorry about the noise it makes, but you know, it is what it is. That's a very easy fix and something I didn't notice until I started riding. So as soon as I get home, I'm just gonna true that side of the rotor, and then that'll be fixed. Very, very easy. But as far as performance go, these brakes work really well. 4-piston hydraulic calipers biting onto 203mm rotors. That's pretty much as good as it gets on an e-bike. Sure, you can get bigger rotors out there and you can get 6-piston calipers, but who needs that? These have a lot of biting power that translates into the tires that grip the road. It's a perfect setup.
Now this bike has a lot of power, but it is a bicycle after all. So let's look at the drivetrain. For shifting gears, you get a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur. These are super easy to find, super cheap to replace, Very, very popular on a lot of e-bikes. And bonus here, you get a derailleur cage to protect the mech from any damage. Back here, you get a 7-speed Shimano cassette. And take a look at this 56 tooth chainring up front. There's no way we're gonna be ghost pedaling this thing at 40 miles an hour. Or is there?
Man, how good does this bike look? And you know what? The beauty with this bike is that it knows what it is, right? It knows it's a fast bike, and Wired bikes have spec'd this thing out to work flawlessly with the amount of power they put into this thing. Check this out. This has a 56 tooth chainring up front. It's by far the largest chainring I've ever seen on any e-bike. But they do that so that you don't end up ghost pedaling when you end up going those speeds, right? So let's see what the Wired Cruiser is like to pedal. Like any other pedal test, I'm gonna start in pedal assist 0. I'm in the granny gear right now. Oh man, this is not fun at all. Oh. I mean, I could raise the seat a little bit to get more stretch out of my legs, but come on. This bike weighs well over 100 pounds with all the batteries installed. And even in the granny gear, it's just no fun to pedal. So I'm gonna go to pedal assist number 1. I'm gonna drop a couple gears here. There we go. So pedal assist number 1 takes me up to about 16 miles an hour. Pedal assist number 2. Drop some more. Already at 22 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3, man, this bike has so much power, it's insane. 28 miles an hour already. 30 in pedal assist 3. Pedal assist 4. We're getting up to 35 miles an hour. I'm gonna drop all the gears, go to pedal assist 5. Let's go! 38, 39.
You honestly thought I was gonna let you see this bike's top speed without hitting the like button first? Hell no, that's not how it works. If you're enjoying the video so far, help me out by smashing the like button. That tells YouTube to spread this video out like wildfire. Trust me, it works. For the bike's powertrain, check out this rear hub motor from Hentac. It's a 60 volt geared hub motor that runs at 1500 watts nominal and peaks at over 3200 watts. This thing is a beast.
Okay, you guys know what we do first thing in every video. Since we got a full battery, we're gonna see how well this bike climbs. I'm gonna go throttle only, pedal assist 5. Let's get going. The hill up ahead of me is a 15% grade. It's not the steepest out there, but it's long and it's grueling for a lot of e-bikes out there. I got up to 27 miles an hour before the hill started, and this bike has over 150 Newton meters of torque. It is just pulling me up this hill. This is insane. Wow. 27 miles an hour sustained uphill. Guys, just for context, most bikes up this hill do 14 to 16 miles an hour tops. This was 27 miles an hour the whole way. Insane. But this is not the true top speed of this bike. For that, I'm gonna go somewhere a little safer. Let's go.
Okay, you guys saw how it used over 3000 watts of power to climb that hill. But get this, this rear hub motor generates over 150 Newton meters of torque. Just take a look at how fast this thing accelerates on flat ground.
I want to see how quickly it accelerates. I've got a driveway pullout just up ahead of me, and I always start right here at this lamp standard. Now, this bike has a couple of features in the menu system to play with acceleration. So here, I'm going to show you. Let's go inside the menu, and it's in advanced settings. I'm going to go in here, and if you scroll down to start strength, right now I'm in 3. 3 has a little bit of a delay. It's actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna do 2 acceleration tests. I'm gonna do one with the start strength at 3, which is the lowest, right? It's almost kind of like a little bit of a delay. And then I'm gonna knock it down to 0 and see how much faster we can accelerate. You guys ready? Go all the way down, X. I love how easy this menu is. Oh, you know what? Let's get rid of this. Yeah, there we go. So I've got it in pedal assist number 5, start strength 3, which is the lowest acceleration. It's the lowest, you know, amount of juice right off the bat. So let's see if we can still get to 20 miles an hour before the driveway pullout. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. You see that little bit of a delay? 20 miles an hour already. Oh man. So I got to 23 miles an hour on my GPS before we got to the driveway pullout. So I'm gonna go back to the same starting point. And now we're gonna go back into the menu. Go back to advanced settings. And we are going to make the start strength 0. All right, set. Go back down to return, back down to exit. Okay, start strength is down to 0 now. This should give me the most amount of acceleration right off the bat. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah, just instant torque. 13, 19, 22, easy. Now, the speed I got to before the driveway pullout was about the same. Once the bike starts giving you power, it's got the same amount of power, right? The only thing that this setting changes is how quickly the power comes on. It's how quickly the throttle reacts, right, and gives you power. With start strength 3, it's almost like it waits a second and then smoothly brings on the power. At start strength 0, as soon as I pull the trigger, it's like a millisecond. Boom, like just instant power. Feels good.
Right, so we know the bike has a ton of power to climb hills, a bunch of torque for acceleration. So now I want to show you what you guys all came here to see. How fast this bike can go. Let's see exactly how fast this 60-volt system spins the Wired Cruiser's wheels.
Welcome to Test Drive Island, the place where I take all of my fast bikes. Because there's very few cars here, there's maybe 4 or 5 homes, a couple of farms. It's a really nice, safe place to unleash powerful bikes like this one. But you know what? I realize that you're not gonna be able to ride your bike at 35, 40 miles an hour all the time, right? And this bike ships out as a Class 2 e-bike. So, I think I'd be doing you a disservice in this review if I didn't show you what that's like. So as the bike ships out, let's go into the menu. I'll show you in here, in the advanced settings. Right here, Class 2. So you can say yes or no to Class 2. This is the way the bike ships out to you. So if we go to yes and go to speed limit, so I'm locked at 32 kilometers an hour, which is 20 miles an hour. Let's get out of our menu. And what I want to show you is in each mode in Class 2, what it can do. You guys ready? Let's start in pedal assist 0. I got no power. So pedal assist 1, barely crawling. Now in the menu, I'll show you as soon as we stop. This is really cool because in each pedal assist mode, each power mode in the bike's computer, you can set a percentage of power. So right now I believe pedal assist number 1 gives me 10% of the bike's power. If I go to pedal assist number 2, I'm now at 15 miles an hour. And I think it's like somewhere along 12 to 15%. Pedal assist 3, super gradual power, going up to about 17. Pedal assist 4. You guys get the picture, right? So I think in pedal assist 5, which I am right now, the bike should go up to about 20 miles an hour. And there you go. I just felt the power just cut off. And this is at 30% power. So right now in class 2 mode, I'm using 30% of the bike's potential power to get me up to 20 miles an hour. So let's turn back around. I'm gonna show you guys how to unlock the bike, set it into the most powerful mode, and then we're gonna see how fast it goes. Okay, enough messing around. Time to find out how fast the Wired Cruiser can go. So let me show you how to unlock this beast. I'm gonna hold the set button, get into the bike's menu, and then we're gonna go into the advanced settings right here. First menu you get is class 2. So we're gonna go into that and then select no. This is gonna unlock the bike. So when we go into the speed limit, see, 99 kilometers an hour. This is just to unrestrict the motor as far as speed goes. It's just gonna give me as much speed as it can with its own power. Now that we've unlocked the bike, remember I told you how in class 2 we had 10, 15, 20, up to 30. But now in the unrestricted mode, power mode 1 is gonna give me 20% of the overall bike's potential power, 40%, 60, 80, and 100% in power mode 5. So let's see what this power mode 5 can do. I'm gonna do this test throttle only, and then we're gonna see if we can get any faster by pedaling and putting in our own power. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! The front wheel like almost wants to pick up. It's so torquey. You know what? I'm gonna learn from my own mistakes, because when I reviewed the Wired Freedom, it was so fast and it was so cold that my eyes were watering like crazy. I couldn't see a thing. And I did bring my goggles, so I'm gonna turn around, put my goggles on, just so I don't get some nasty comments from all you guys. I literally had some people say that they were gonna unsubscribe from the channel because I was wearing my goggles backwards. And I was complaining about how watery my eyes were. And I don't want that to happen. Let's do this again. 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! There's so much torque on this bike. It's absolutely insane. 25 miles an hour already. 30. 33. Now they say 35, and we got 35. 37. 38. Woo! 39. 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour confirmed on the Wired Cruiser. How insane is that? Oh, hi, Pop. So while we're at it testing the pedaling and the throttle on the Wired Cruiser, I want to show you a couple of things that most reviewers don't actually show you, but I feel is a pretty important component to how quality a bike feels, right? I've reviewed bikes that are under $1,000. I've reviewed bikes that are over $5,000. And every time I get on a bike, it's different. You can tell when the company puts cheap components on a bike. And I'm talking about throttle. I'm talking about the programming that they can put into their computer system. And this all changes your experience on the bike. So let me try and show you how quickly the cadence sensor kicks in, right? So I'm gonna start pedaling now, power. So it's maybe half a second, right? And then you get power from the bike. Okay, you guys ready? I'm gonna slow down so maybe you can hear the motor kick in. And I'm gonna pedal now, power. Pedal now, power. It's half a second and you get power. It's actually really quick. And how about the throttle? Let's do the same thing with the throttle. Throttle, yeah. Throttle is instant because you know what? We've increased the start strength on that. That's actually tunable in the bike's programming. You can tune how quickly the throttle gives you power, but right now it's just instant. Like you just get instant power when you crank on that throttle. And not only that, but check this out. You can actually only get a little bit of power from this throttle. Like right now, I'm just kind of like feathering the throttle and I'm getting just a little bit of power. If I want middle power, I can go in the middle. And if I want all of it, I can go all the way back and get all the power from the motor. You are in complete control of this bike's power. And I feel like that's pretty important when a bike has over 3,000 watts of power and 150 Newton meters of torque, right?
So a bike that's this much fun to ride and goes that fast needs a ton of battery capacity. And that's why the guys at Wired give you two. You get a 20 amp hour battery built into the frame here, and a second 15 amp hour battery built into the bike's rear rack here. That gives you a total of 35 amp hours of battery capacity.
All right, let's do a quick range report. I've just passed the 35-mile mark and I still have 32% battery. So the rule of thumb kind of still stands. In my personal experience, if you're riding like I do, throttle only, pinned the whole time, you're probably gonna get about a mile and a half per amp hour that you have. So this bike has 35 amp hour total, and I just got to the 35-mile mark. So I could probably get another 5 to 10 miles out of this, no problems. And guys, that's worst case scenario. That's climbing hills, that's going as fast as you can. If you notch down the power levels a little bit, or you put in some of your own power, you're gonna amplify that range tenfold.
So this leads me to the second key factor that makes the Wired Cruiser better than the Wired Freedom, in my opinion. And that key factor is how the battery is integrated into the frame. Since it mounts from the bottom and there's a big lip around the battery, there's zero chance of getting any water in there to affect any of the connections. This is super important to me as I live in the Pacific Northwest, and we all know here the weather can be a little unpredictable. On the Freedom, the battery mounts from the top and the cracks in there make it susceptible to water. And that, well, it's less than ideal for me and the weather out here. If you live in sunny California or the deserts of Phoenix, maybe that's not a big issue for you, but for me, it's enough to be a big consideration. So obviously I'm splitting hairs here as these two bikes are insanely good. And hopefully by now you can see why they're incredibly popular. So what do you guys think? Which one's for you? The old school step over or the brand new step through?
Right, so $1 million question. Who's the Wired Cruiser really for? Without sounding like too much of a shill, I feel like this should be the type of bike that most people look for. If you don't want to have to buy the bike twice, right? If you don't want to have to cheap out on a $1,000 bike and be disappointed with the amount of power, the amount of settings, the amount of control you have over your bike, the range, the comfort. If you're smart enough to realize that this budget, this $2,000 budget, will buy you the bike that you want. The power, the comfort, the utility, the tunability, the control, right? Like this bike gives you everything. And I feel like the $2,000 mark is a very respectable budget for most people. If you want a bike to grow with, right? Start in class 2 and then unlock the bike as you gain more confidence with it. The other thing I love about this bike is that the step-through frame is gonna unlock this bike's potential for a lot of people out there. The step-through frame on this bike makes it so convenient for anybody to get on and off. It's not everybody that's got the dexterity to kick the leg over a tall bike like this. So the step-through frame makes it super convenient for anybody to get on and off. If you have knees or hip disabilities, this is what you want to look at. And finally, you guys know, Wired is not out there to make underpowered bikes, right? If you're a little bit of a daredevil like me and like to go fast, when you can, of course, right? You gotta be safe. You have to look at the bikes that Wired are making right now. The Wired Freedom I reviewed a little while ago got over 300,000 views so far. And I feel like the Wired Cruiser is even better. The frame is sleeker, It's got the step through, it's got the same amount of power, the same performance, the same tunability, most of the same components. It's just on a nicer, more beautiful frame, in my personal opinion. So man, do yourself a favor, stop looking around for other bikes, because you're not gonna find anything better than this for the price. There's a link in the description that'll take you right to their website, or you can scan this QR code with your phone's camera if you're watching on TV. That'll take you right to their website. It'll guarantee you the best price on it. Plus two, try this discount code. It might still be working for any of the bikes on Wired's website. And for whatever reason, if the Wired Cruiser is not the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. I'll see you over there.